Welcome back to the channel, where silence speaks louder than scandal, and every royal breath becomes a story waiting to be told. Today, we turn to Princess Catherine. After many months spent away from public life, fighting a battle that no crown could shield her from, she is quietly returning, steady, composed, and without fanfare. But while the world watched her recovery, another story was quietly taking shape behind palace walls. It began with a private decision in a royal meeting room and ended with Queen Camilla in silent tears. Prince William, who had stood steadfast beside Catherine through it all, is now stepping forward. He is no longer waiting for permission. His actions, measured but firm, signal the emergence of a new leadership, one that quietly edges others aside. Camilla, once regarded as the queen consort in full stature, now finds herself gently moved away from the center, not through confrontation, but through quiet realignment. So what happens when the monarchy begins to shift? Not with announcements or protests, but with subtle, deliberate whispers that carry more weight than declarations. This is not a scandal, this is succession by stillness. And it begins, not with noise, but with her return. It began with a whisper, not in courtrooms or halls of parliament, but in the hushed corridors of the palace, where royal futures are quietly reshaped without headlines. After 6 long months away from the public eye, Catherine returned. There was no parade or formal statement, only a single line added discreetly to the court circular. Her Royal Highness the Princess of Wales is expected to resume duties this August. But that simple announcement held a deeper meaning. It spoke of strength, endurance, and calm. Catherine had faced her trials not with defiance, but with grace. And now, the royal household, once uncertain and scattered, slowly began to gather again around her, as if instinctively turning toward the route that held the most resilience. William never wavered in his support. But now, he was moving ahead, his voice subdued in the media, but resolute in action. He approved the restructuring of court offices, reduced extravagant travel costs, and quietly suggested a monarchy that serves more and celebrates less. The king agreed, and soon after, without ceremony or announcement, a name disappeared from the palace books. Tom Parker Bowles, Camilla's son, would no longer receive financial support from the royal household. There was no formal explanation, just tightened accounts and a subtle return to tradition. For Camilla, it was more than administrative. Her only son, who had never sought titles but remained quietly near the crown, was being erased from proximity. The decision carried weight. It signaled that the future heirs were not hers. Insiders revealed the change followed a series of private meetings between Charles and William, discussions not just about money, but about legacy. Charles, tired from illness and age, had begun to consider succession seriously, not only as a monarch, but as a father. He saw what the nation had seen, Catherine as a symbol of quiet strength, William as the reformer, and Camilla as a figure met with distant courtesy. So he acted. Camilla's public role, once rising, was to be softened, not from spite, but for preservation. She would remain his companion, but no longer his center. In private, Camilla wept, not from vanity, but from the quiet sorrow of a mother whose son was folded away from the royal picture. She has William, she was heard whispering. She has the world. Why must she take mine? But Catherine had not asked for anything. She had only waited, and when she finally returned, it was not with speeches or spotlights. Just one quiet image, a hand on Charlotte's shoulder, her face calm in the summer light. No jewels. No throne, just presence. The crown had spoken, not with command, but through presence. William continued his work, visiting charities, attending youth forums, quietly shaping what the monarchy might become, not ceremonial, but sincere. Charles, from his desk, watched on. Proud, weary, fully aware that transitions in monarchy rarely come with trumpets. They come through silences, through glances, omitted names, shortened speeches. And sometimes, through the quiet return of the woman who never stopped believing in duty. Catherine had not taken anything back. She had simply stood still, and let everything else return to her. The kingdom had shifted, not through rebellion, but through quiet balance. And for the first time in months, the palace gates no longer felt closed. They felt ready.